All right. Welcome everyone to the Dr. Tapiocaweasel after party. And of course, with us we have, of course, the guest of honor, Mike, aka Dr. Tapiocaweasel, is with us. There's my producer and very good friend and co-host, Mr. Mikey Famine, is with us.
Your binky.
my brother from the other coast, who's dropped 30 pounds because he got food poisoning, is also with us. Mr. Canadian Ollyman. My very good friend, Mr. Michael Earhart, is with us. My sometimes co-host on Orange Shit, Ember is with us, and Sabrina the Apothecary also with us, and Uncle Beck is also into his house, as they say.
The Beck.
Is that still a term?
I see who it is.
Sure,
All the
that
trans
sounds
folks
good.
on the bottom.
Yeah, separation, Mikey. We know what's going on here.
What?
Bunch of guys with facial hair in the middle. Bunch of guys with facial hair. Yeah, we know what's going on.
Here.
I mean, we got
What?
some pretty good
Here,
pairs
this
going
one-
I
on.
don't
one-
know.
Can't-
This is
we
what
can't
you
hide
want?
that.
This is what you want? Here.
Hey.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, don't segregate yourself and kneel. That's not right.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine. I enjoy it this way. This is great. I'm happier.
Oh, I love you, brother. Whew.
I'm in a better mood. I can do this all day.
You have the best sass, Mikey. I love it.
I'm a
He
sa-
does.
I am a
I love hanging
sassafras.
out with it because of it. We were only
Now
kidding,
what's going on?
Mikey.
What the hell is going on here?
Holy
Good evening.
Shit.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Shake up.
We have a
Hello.
plus state of mind. Welcome.
What?
What's
Hello.
Wait a minute. Wait a fucking second here.
Aha.
I don't think he knew the cheat code. All right.
Mhm.
I don't think you've ever been in one of the after shows.
Well, he just had his show Tuesday.
That's right. I'm a new fan, and I'm a loyal fan.
He's back.
I can't make any
excellent.
long-term promises, though, but
No, you're contractually obligated for the rest of your life.
that's
Tuesday,
right.
None of us guys
Thursday,
can.
Saturday,
It's okay.
every week. But it's
That's
cool.
right.
I
And
like
then-
it when
Facial hair
people come back.
factor.
In a little bit, Apostate Ann might come and say hello, too, so
There we go.
I've come with a bonus.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Like when you get those
Nice,
extra
nice.
fries in the bag,
That's right.
Big mileage.
The-
man.
like bonus
The-
fries.
La Ñap, as they say in Louisiana. Although I'm not from Louisiana.
Or that or when you grab like when you go to grab like a nacho, like if you're splitting nachos and like 6 nachos come with it, you're like, huh, guess that counts as one.
Oops.
That's right.
Shove it in your face. You can,
Yes,
you can
sir.
put it
Rita
down.
there.
You can put it
Shove it in
down.
your pie
My friend
hole.
wouldn't care. But I mean, they're
That's why I've
already
been gaining
catching.
weight.
Yeah, I only had 2 nachos, doctor.
They just
That's
happen
right.
to have 7 other nachos attached to it.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says doctor in this chat, I like my head turns, and it really should, because I'm not a physician.
Oh, we need to get Ed in here too if he's available. Oh, he's
Doctor.
probably not available.
That's like me and the word sexy. I just automatically assume that they're referring to me.
I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
that's a choice you make.
That's a reasonable assumption.
I do
at
that
this point.
sometimes.
We can tell.
Yeah.
I was like, who's gonna spike me down into the sand here? Who's it gonna be? No one this time.
Maya, you can still come in. 10 people isn't too bad in here. It's
Well, it ruins the whole geometrical like shape of it, though. You It see does. that, Maya?
Yeah,
Eventually, we
You're
no
not
longer
welcome.
play Hollywood Squares.
But then you
That's
get
right.
this
yeah.
Michael is Alice, or
Okay, there's at least 3 Michaels here.
We're in a row.
We're all in a row.
Oh, we win!
There's a Mike, a Michael,
Bingo.
and a Mikey. That is not the same. Those are 3
That's
different
bingo.
names.
Check the birth certificate. It's the same on there.
Oh,
You know,
well,
we
if
could
you're all
go. We could
original
have our own
Mikeys,
stream. We
then
could have a mic stream. We
bling.
could go and have a mic
could've.
stream.
Good.
Well, I
I
mean,
And
got
I'm
one
not
in
too far
college.
from Mike.
I
Sometimes get Mike.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's the second
the
most
opposite.
common
Cousin.
name?
I have a mic. Does that
Oh,
count?
here we go. Is that
What's
what
the
we're
second most
relegated
common
Mine-
name, you guys? We need another line of people. What's the second most common name?
Muhammad.
Ah,
Jesus.
that's
Probably not wrong.
Like in general.
Well,
No, I mean in our
Jesus.
community.
If you ask the
Oh,
mediums, they
yeah.
might start with the letter J, perhaps.
Yes, could it be J? I'm feeling like there's a J.
J might be.
We
yeah.
should
Or is
get-
it M? It's an M. There's an M lady with an M.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. That shit cracks me
Uh,
up every time. man.
Someone in your family, John Smith,
So,
Smith.
John
according to Google, the
Something
most
really close
popular
to
name
John
in the
Smith?
world is Maria.
Oh,
Fred
the
McMurray.
Really?
in the
That's
slightest.
it.
Hey, between
wonder
the
why.
Hispanic and the Italians, big families. They're taking up a lot of real estate. I know some Black Marias too.
I would have put money on it being Muhammad.
Number
or,
3.
Jose,
Number 4.
or
What's
Lee.
the second?
Charles.
You never freaking guess it. It's Nushi. Nushi.
Well, we don't speak
Is the
Hindi.
second most?
Well, we don't-
You're
we
right.
don't-
Is that
I
all
don't-
like in China or something?
Is Druve on that list?
Hindi.
Let's see. I've got 120 more rows if I click the button. Let's see.
It's probably on there somewhere.
Click it.
How's it?
Click it.
How's it spelled?
Number
I think
5
Yes,
is
click it,
Muhammad. So I suppose if you add the 2 spellings of Muhammad, number 6 is another Muhammad. So yeah, Muhammad, and
Those
number
all
8
count.
is another Muhammad.
All right, that's cheating.
Yeah,
So
there's
there's
yeah,
like
those
I
all
said in
count.
our
well over
community.
100
You
million
guys are-
Muhammads.
You guys are looking worldwide. I said in our community on YouTube. My God, how many people are you trying to look at over there, man?
I don't know.
That's a lot of YouTube
Billions.
channels.
Number
Math,
7 is
baby?
Wei, Wei.
We hit an infinite.
Oh, yeah,
Chinese.
wait.
9 is
David, no.
Ahmed.
David's pretty common.
10 is Yan.
David is
Uh,
pretty common, actually.
'Cause
That's
yeah.
very common.
David is
I-
13.
India's population is over 1 billion now, right?
Yeah, they're catching up with China.
Michael is only 18.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
getting
no,
pushed out.
Even
Top 20
even in
though.
the United States,
Damn shame.
if you look at names of men in the United States, I think John is number 1,
Jasper.
and then I have 2 brothers, and their names are Robert and David. So we've got Michael, Robert, and David,
Nice.
which are all incredibly common. And then my dad's name is William, which is also way up there. But none of them can match John. John is everywhere.
So can I take a slightly serious but not too serious? So
Even
I was-
clients at a horror are called John. Sorry.
Lots of Johns.
Yeah, if you don't know,
well,
millions of
it's
them.
It's John.
Um,
Although I
and
call
was-
everyone Jim.
And DeSantis signed off on some more racist shit in Florida, obviously. And it was
Shocked.
mostly about like school curriculums and reteaching of history and trying to, not make their kids feel bad about what their granddaddy did.
Right.
Because they all pretend like this was a million years ago when it was actually like 150 years ago. It was either their grandparents or their grandparents' grandparents. So it's not that far away, not that far removed.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
instead of teaching the truth, they want to that can make the white kids feel uncomfortable. So we're gonna change this. And then they had the nerve to add in that the slaves learned skills whilst in slavery, so they received some benefit from being enslaved.
I heard
And
Alan
then-
Parr make
Yeah.
the argument that American slavery was good because the slaves got Christianity out of it.
Oh, what
Oh
a
my
great
God!
deal.
They said that they
Oh,
got
Barr
work
said
skills
that? Of
out
course of
of
he
it,
said
and
that.
I'm
He can go
so
back.
Never mind
mad
him.
about that. Don't even bring that up, man.
So-
Alan
pissed off
Barr
about that
is
shit.
and my parents watch him too. My parents are still like deeply evangelical.
It's a big oof.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
Southern Baptist because we live in Canada, but
F in the
Baptist
chat.
nonetheless.
I don't understand these people who are so afraid of their ancestors being critiqued. Like, yeah, why do you feel so uncomfortable? Like,
There's an
my
old-
ancestor. So I have a great, I believe, grandfather who was a member of the Confederate Senate. Not ideal.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
feel like, yeah, I suppose uncomfortable is a word that, is sometimes applicable, but I don't feel like that changes anything about me. It's
Mhm.
not an attack on me
Right.
to know that. But if I were to go around defending that, that is an attack on others.
What's
It's
the
it's a
defense?
defense of some heinous BS that if they sat down and were to look at it, they would agree.
So here's where I was going with this whole thing anyway.
Well, so-
When it comes with the names and shit like that. Now that has been laid down as the pretext,
Okay.
how do you think black people have our names?
Yep.
Oh no.
My name
You-
is my
you
for
mean
my
European names?
my given name is Christian, as is
Oh my
tradition, and the last name is always after the person who owned the plantation, the slave master,
Yeah.
which is why
Yep.
Johnson and Green and
And
Brooks
Washington.
and all these like very popular black
Meet the
people names,
Jeffersons.
those
Jeffersons, yeah.
are those
Jefferson. Thank
that-
you.
so I literally have to put my ancestry, my history down on paper every time I fill out a form. But now Jimmy can't fucking learn it. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
Or-
What?
or
you have
pay-
to do.
Well, my fucking name is a monument to fucking slavery. My,
Yeah.
my government name
Yeah.
is a time capsule of what this country has done to other people.
Right. If
So
it's one
I
of
don't
those,
want to
yeah.
hear that fucking
It's-
William
yeah.
is really getting uncomfortable with all the
Nope.
slave talk. Bitch, how do you fucking
Oh
think
my
Marcus fucking feels sitting right next to him?
It's
Jesus.
I have open on one of my monitors the Wikipedia page of a woman named Mae Jemison.
Mm-hmm.
She
Astronaut.
yes, black astronaut from Alabama. My full name is Michael Jemison Vandegraff. The Jemisons were slave owners.
Mm.
And I can just imagine, it never occurred to me before this conversation right now, but I can totally imagine somebody having the absolute brain dead idea of saying, oh, well, look, it worked out. She became an astronaut.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
So
you could not have missed the point anymore.
so then so
Right.
imagine that same context every time somebody says, "Oh, this is the first time a black person has done this, and that," and then it's shut down and poo-pooed on, and it's not impressive or it's not important or who cares, and everything is divisive and everything's about race. We can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. So
Can't even
How about
fish
the
in a
Venn
pond.
diagram? How about the Venn diagram of people who want to whitewash our history and the people who want to whitewash German 1930s history? Those two things are merging.
yeah,
That's-
because even the Germans have a pretty good idea of what
Lovely.
happened during the 40s.
Yeah.
And they
But
learned their
Germans
lesson.
knew
But there
that
are
there would be
Americans-
revisionist shit like that, which is why
there
they
are
made it part of their
Americans-
law that it has to be taught to every
But
school
my
child.
point is there's Americans now trying to whitewash even German history. So
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and those circles are converging.
Right, I was agreeing
That's
with
not
you. That's what I was
shocking.
saying. Even Germany won't allow that. We'll do it over here, but Germany ain't playing that shit.
Yeah.
Fly a swastika or a swastika in Germany and see what happens to you.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Try that Disney that shit out in front of Disneyland. Try that shit out in fucking Germany and see what happens to you. MP5, your little dumbass so quick. Boy, don't play that shit over there. Those are Europeans. You better relax. You don't have no constitution over there.
I was about to say, you remember what happened before with them fuckers over there? No.
Stop it. I'm watching this 7,000-year-old man make this sword, and I can't take my eyes off of it.
Oh, I feel that. I completely feel that.
Why did they start recording this shit? This is like watching like the backhoe dig a hole somewhere. You can just look around. There is 30,000 eyes on every piece of equipment as soon as it starts moving. If it's on the truck, yeah, whatever. It's moving from point A to point B. As soon as that motherfucker starts moving that scoop,
That's right.
what the hell he doing?
Yeah,
A lot of dirt.
What's
It
going
sucks
on?
being. It
Oh, that's a
sucks
lot
being
of
the one
dirt.
driving one of those around and people are like staring at you.
Motherfuckers out there drying off their car in the rain, talking about some. Wow.
Yeah. All right, can we do a random unscheduled topic change?
Yes, please.
Dr. T, people are dying to know, where did
Oh.
Tapiocaweasel come from?
Oh, yeah,
All right.
the teaser. We got him past the 15
didn't-
minutes.
It
Good
came
job,
from
Emma.
Right,
nowhere
right, right.
interesting. It came from I was a
Weasel.
I was a young weasel.
When he was a young weasel.
So canonically, for the record, what you see before you is 3 weasels in a human suit. Okay, there are 4 weasels. There are now 4 weasels. Okay, a new weasel has joined the bunch, but at any given time, only 3 weasels are operating the human suit, which generally, obviously not at this moment, but generally is in a trench coat. So
Question.
as one does.
Question. Which one
Yes.
gets to operate your junk when you're going to the bathroom?
Generally that's tropical. So typically you've got Tapioca operating the
You know,
head,
everyone was thinking about
and
that. So
and
come on.
then you've got
Oh, yeah.
you've got
Totally.
tropical operating the junk, and then you've got topical operating like just generic other stuff. But topical sometimes goes by teriyaki, and then you've also got the newest member who can step in anytime, and that is of course Dr. Truth Weasel official.
Shoot, somebody call 911. There's something wrong with this dude.
Hey, so let me ask you
But
something.
hold on, I want to answer the
phone.
Is
Get to the
teriyaki?
phone. Oh wait,
Is
we carry him
teriyaki
now.
in the room right now? Can you see teriyaki right now?
I thought
mean,
the tapioca
you
was
hear
because your
teriyaki right
skin
now?
was so pale.
Well, I'm gonna. Well, you know, now
you're
now
not
I
even
have to.
tanned like
Now
I
I
am.
I thought you were
bring
going to
out
say
my
his
all.
skin was so lumpy.
But that means I have to operate 4 YouTube channels simultaneously while also being on a live stream, and it's very tough. So I want to answer the question first. Where did the name Tapiocaweasel come from?
Teriyaki weasel.
So
I thought you were some kind of Bubba tea
Boba.
fiend or something.
no,
Boba.
I was in
Boba
7th
tea.
grade.
Boba tea's so good, man.
I was in 7th grade, and I really enjoyed just being
You made it to 7th grade?
stunning.
Shit.
It was. I mean,
I'm
you
jealous.
know, charity runs very deeply in the suburbs of Chicago. What can I say?
Yeah,
Don't let
don't be too
anybody-
envious,
Wow.
Neil. It's the U.S. education system, so
Oh,
it's the
right,
equivalent of like kindergarten for you in Canada.
In the UK, yeah.
We got markers now. You watch.
India, it's like 6th grade.
I got after I got my PhD, I tried to move to Canada, and they were like, "That's great, but you're going to have to go and get your GED." And I was like, "I don't know if I can deal with that."
What the fuck, Canada? All these rules.
That's how.
But-
Michael, what's going on, buddy? There's another Michael now.
Oh.
We were talking about him earlier.
Yes.
He's very upset.
No, we can
Oh.
only have 3 at a time because we have 9 squares. Sorry.
You already hit your
You gotta
quota.
stay in the chat,
You
Granado.
hit your quota. Is that what it is?
Michael.
Your quota's
Yeah.
been
Oh, yeah.
removed?
One of the
Mikey
first things
Max.
I did in the
Mike
show
Max.
was shill the episode I did on your show. So,
There you go.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
but so I was in 7th grade, and I enjoyed being, I don't know, wacky and weird and
My everyday.
yeah, it just
Typical
kind of off
ADHD
the wall,
person kind of
and you know the kind of kid who a lot of attention seeking sort of stuff, and most of it was like, you know, harmless and fine. Some of it people
loud?
mature as they grow, but I can't. I decided, okay, what is a weird thing that I can shout while running down the hall that will make people be like, what the hell is that guy doing? And I came up with the combination of the words tapioca and weasel.
Have you ever watched Scrubs?
And that's all I got.
That's all I
Did you
They
ever-
were
did
2 words
So that's
that if you asked a whole lot of people, you're unlikely to get anybody to put those 2 words together
Mhm.
otherwise. So
So the
I was
name
like-
won't be taken on Twitter.
Exactly, and frankly, so I didn't really think about it, and then like I remembered, and by the time I remembered in high school, it was like this embarrassing memory of a very slightly younger version of myself, and I was like, okay, well, you know, that makes a pretty good handle online, Tapiocaweasel, right? It does. It makes because it's not offensive in any way.
And you can
It's-
type it into any game or anything like that, and no problem. Nobody else took that
Exactly.
name.
Exactly. It's
Um,
it's fairly memorable. It has the correct amount of whimsy to like just the name tells you something about my personality a little bit, right? It may be hard to articulate exactly what, but I'm
Sound like a
probably
weird
not going
computer bookworm.
Huh?
Weird computer bookworm.
A weird something or other.
I would
And
like
I'm
to.
interested in knowing about the drawology part. I'm over here Googling what's drawology, so you have to explain that unless you already have.
No, you stop right now, young lady. That's exactly what I was going to address. We have someone has snuck into the stream. I let Mark in here, and Mark has brought a young lady on. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. I'm Apostate Anne, and I'm Mark's partner in the Apostate of Mind podcast. And I'm so happy to join you guys because I'm kind of new to being out, and so like I'm needing to wanting to meet people in the community and have a network of people.
Hell yeah!
Speaking of which, Neil, production note. I'm going to start you a Google Calendar if you can start sending me the screenshots from your phone.
Oh, yeah. I should actually probably
I'm going to go
do
ahead.
it on a Google Calendar
I'm
anyways.
just going to go ahead and take care of that for you there, big guy. You just go ahead and send me the screenshots and I'll just start typing it in.
On the note of production, this also raises some possibilities. If we can put 2 people in a square, then we could have up to 20 people in the room.
Wow. That's better for the environment is what it is. Someone cares
guys will have
about
to kick me
cares
out.
about Earth.
But we got a Hollywood Squares thing going on.
That was the main reason I joined. I visited
Thank you, Mike.
Stephanie
Do it again. No, I'll leave.
for the previous episode of Bad Science Sunday. I was like, it'll save bandwidth if we just have 2 of us on one couch.
That's true. That's true. But then you randomly go off and visit your other co-hosts.
So the doctor of drawology is technically doctor of doctorology.
Yeah.
It's just that I, being poorly educated in the English language, I'm good at math, not so much the other stuff. Don't know how to spell the word doctor, so I just use the DR. So I'm a doctor of doctorology.
Well, you should just put a DR dash.
I'm actually a doctor of physics, though. If that was the actual question. Yeah, I'm a physicist. So yeah,
he's one of them there smart people.
Wow.
I know he is.
He's not even a regular physicist. That's too mainstream for Tapiocaweasel.
Right. There's no such thing as a regular physicist. They all have their specialties. I just happen to be
all irregular.
I was looking for a phone a friend if I have any universe forming questions or something like that. I've been wanting a friend that I could reach out to ask those questions to.
So
I mean, I will certainly be willing to take a look. I actually serve that role for a number of people in our community now, but I'm not. I will say I'm not a cosmologist. I do the standard thing that a lot of the people in our community, like Dr. Josh and whatnot, I'm very reluctant to opine definitively on things that are outside my very, very narrow area of expertise, which is ultra cold atoms.
That's super responsible for you. Okay, guys.
I'm not.
Go ahead and line up
He's going to bed. He's mad.
That was good.
Damn it, Mikey, that was fucking good.
That was really good.
It was the laziness of the who is also a cosmologist. I was just supposed to be fucking hold it in.
Oh, you channeled Titan for a moment there.
People say that all the time. I beg to differ.
No, Ox, that's a cosmetologist, not a cosmologist.
Literally the same thing.
He's so funny.
You'd be surprised how many people think so.
Yeah.
It's a little disturbing.
I'm not that surprised.
Hold on.
Blue Cat wants to join real bad.
Blue Cat needs to follow the rules.
I could
Blue Cat
send her a
can't
link.
seem to. Here, look, dude.
Yeah, they said they couldn't message you guys. I was trying to help.
She just messaged me, and I could link her if you want.
Blue Cat 42. Now I gotta type it in. This
You
is
have
the
to do
life
typing on a computer.
Everybody else,
Oh.
just tag me in the chat because this is my life now.
I want to be a producer for Neil.
Lord,
Dun,
him.
dun,
Hey,
dun.
you just, by the way,
Exactly.
I downloaded Twitter just so that we can get this link today.
See,
We knew it. We knew it.
He downloaded it.
Just
I'm
because
Excuse
sorry.
me, you downloaded X.
X. Thank you. Neil.
His mama named
That is.
Yo me a
His mama-
Coke.
his mama named him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter.
I thought it was Exeter.
Is it even an X? Like, it's an X shape, but with that thicker bar, doesn't that technically make it
Yeah,
a
I
different
have-
symbol?
You know, I have the little fucking things you can put in your bookmark bar where it's got all the little like logos and shit. It's an X
Yeah.
now.
It
Yep.
changed. Mine
It's an
hasn't
X. It's
changed
not-
yet. Mine's
yeah.
still a little
Yeah.
blue bird or white bird.
Yeah, it's
blue
still
back.
Twitter. Twitter.
Log
What
out and
hap-
log back
what I
in,
typically-
and it'll be an
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They didn't
It-
change it on the
Mine
app.
changed
Store
the
yet.
Changes
other
when
day,
you
too.
use the link. So if you don't tap it on your bookmark bar, if you just go there from somewhere else, then it won't necessarily change. But if I go to it from my bookmark bar, yeah, it changed to an X. So have they actually changed the name too? It's not Twitter anymore.
Company is
Zitter.
not called Twitter.
It's always going to be Twitter to me.
It's still
And I saw some
Twitter.com,
really-
though.
Yeah, it is. And I saw some really cool X designs where they actually are a bird too with wings, just in
I'm
an
about,
X shape.
I'm about to
That they
bail.
coulda
off
used.
Well, they should have just done that in the first place then.
I'm about
Right,
to bail
that's
on all
what I
this shit and go over to MySpace.
I mean,
Yeah,
but usually when you draw an X over a bird, it's because you're trying to, make a target out of it and shoot
To
it.
kill the bird, sure. Yeah.
That means anything.
Crosshair.
Marks the
There's
spot.
also the Twitter bird with a little X where its eyes were. So
Yeah.
maybe
That bird.
Yeah.
something they could use there.
So the Twitter logo is Unicode U+EA00, commonly referred to as mathematical double-struck capital X, to differentiate it from a regular X, because a regular X is already a variable used in many formulas and equations, and this thing exists for mathematical purposes. That's what it is for.
Yesterday, I spent 30 minutes finding the correct way to typeset my what is called Blackboard Bold.
Neil.
It's called Blackboard Bold font, which you use. It's you've got like the R with the double line and then a thing, and that means the reals. And if you have a Z with the double like side brace, that means the integers and natural numbers and complex. They all have their own particular fancy thing, and my stupid LaTeX installation was uploading a package that I had totally forgotten about, which changed it from being a serif font, which is correct, to being a sans serif font, and it was visually unpleasing. So I spent 30 minutes to make it.
Putting it back.
I'm sorry.
See, but who wants to say all that, John? I'll just stick with Twitter, man.
Yeah, fuck
Like
that,
you
yeah.
want it. It's like changing the name of Vegas. It's still gonna be Vegas, right, bro?
Ox wants to know what that was in English.
The Vegas.
We should really
Dude, just
invest
do what
some
I
money
do.
into a
Just nod and
translator.
say cool. Cool. Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
So I have
Yeah,
a
cool.
So I have a question. What is
Yeah, me
what
too.
what is the day in the life of a physicist? So what do you measure? What are you measuring? What do you
Hunt for
physicist-
Schrodinger's cat.
I mean, so it very much depends. There are a lot of different types of physicists. It's sort of like asking, what
What
is
do you
the day
check
in the life?
for superposition particles in your coffee?
Well, yeah, superposition particles are definitely a thing.
Oh, I know.
They're not in my coffee, but they are in
One of them could be.
the vacuum chamber at work. So what I do is
I want that.
we are designing and moving towards building an experiment that will be housed at Fermilab National Laboratory,
Ooh.
which will be a 100-meter tower with
5G.
cold atom sources at the bottom, middle, and top of it that you can then use to do quantum matter wave interferometric experiments. You can do atom interferometry, where you take advantage of the fact that atoms can behave as both particles and waves, just like light. And because of that, they become, if you look at the solutions to the Schrödinger equation, then if you have atoms in a superposition so that half of the wave function is down here and half of the wave function is up there, then the part that's up there is going to acquire a phase relative to the part that's down here because of the differential gravitational potential energy. So then, because they are acquiring this phase, which is just a number that grows, and then when you combine them, that phase determines how they interfere. So when you take a single atom, and we do these experiments simultaneously with thousands of atoms, but it's the same as just a single atom, and then you just scale it up for signal-to-noise purposes. You take a single atom, you switch it into two spots, and then you wait a moment, and then you bring it back together. And then if you measure that atom, you're going to notice it here, or here, or here. It's going to give you a fringe pattern. And when you do this experiment with many thousands of atoms, you can just take one photo and it just shows you the fringe pattern. If you did it with just one, you would only see it in one of those locations, and then you would have to tally all of them together. But the location of those fringes, where you have a lot of atoms and then where you have very few atoms, that positioning is exceptionally sensitive to exactly the distance that was split between the upper half of the wave function and the bottom half of the wave function when you put the atom into a superposition. And it's also exceptionally sensitive to the exact phase of the laser that you use to do the splitting and then to do the recombining and all of these things.
Talking about this kind of stuff?
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah.
So we would use a frequency of 698 nanometers, so almost all the way to the right on this plot, and we will be using for this experiment strontium 87 because it has a transition there which is very forbidden, but not totally absolutely forbidden.
Forbidden elements.
I know, right?
I gotta see the spectros. I gotta see the spectroscopy on that
chart you just showed. That was emission spectrums or absorption spectrums, rather.
Well, they're the same. I mean, they're the same.
Yeah.
Emission spectrum, it would be black, and then it would have bright lines. Absorption spectrums are bright and then have black lines. So
So what you're observing, is it kind of like a harmonic determined by how the atoms resonate with in response to the laser, or like if you used a different laser, would you get different wavelengths for the matter, I suppose?
You wouldn't. So if you're asking about, so the way I understand what you're asking is matter has wave-like properties. Therefore, it has a wavelength. And if you were to interact with it with a different laser, would that wavelength be different?
Yeah, would it create some kind of harmonic when because the photograph is the effective measurement, right?
Yeah.
So would it change what shows up? Like, or I guess putting it a different way, like use the same laser but different elements. They're going to have a different.
You wouldn't see anything. The laser wouldn't interact with them.
Okay.
It's like if you tried to use. It's like if you tried to use the wrong key in a lock.
Just jam it.
And if it's a very simple lock, if it's like a handcuff lock or something, supposedly, I'm not saying from any experience, I swear. Then you can just sort of jam any old thing in there, wiggle it around, and it's going to open. This is not like that. This is like the Fort Knox of transitions. You need to have your laser at exactly the right frequency to within a what's the fractional uncertainty? So it's about what, on the order of 10 millihertz out of 450 terahertz. So it has to be correct to within 1 out of 10 to the 15th. So it has to be correct to 1 out of 1 quadrillionth.
That's pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
I can understand
Just
why,
eyeball
because
it, just-
effectively what you're doing is you're using that you're cheating the wave function to get around that object can't be in more than one place at the same time / 2 objects can't be in the same place at the same time because of the superposition.
Yeah, so you split it. What you do is you basically, if you shine that laser on long enough, then the electron, which is normally going around the atom like this, now starts going around the atom in a different way. The electron is in a different energy level. This is just basic sort of chemistry, physics that you may have learned in high school. You've got a whole bunch of energy levels, and an electron can be an excited one, and then it has extra energy, and it falls back down, and it releases a photon. If we had that image with all the spectra up, for example, in the sodium one, there are 2 lines in the yellow where there are 2 energy states of sodium here. Is it in here? Okay. It's
got
not.
no sodium.
Sodium
no
is
sodium
not
in
here.
this one.
Hold on.
But you have, for example, various energy levels, and if you have an atom, if you have an electron in that excited state and it falls down, it will release light of a very particular color with some wiggle room. The reason that street lights, like just general typical street lights, have that sort of orangish yellowy glow to them is because they have a lot of sodium in them, and they're releasing light of this very particular color. But
I was
that
just thinking
light,
about that.
That light will
The sodium
vary.
lights. Yep.
That light will vary by a factor of 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. Yeah. So here in the middle there, you've got well, I guess you've got 2 doublets, and the doublet that's smack in the middle of the yellow is the sodium D line doublet. It doesn't matter, but there are 2 energy states that differ from which way the electron is oriented, basically. If they're oriented like this, or if they're oriented like this, and but those, if you just have a sodium atom and the electrons are spinning around this certain way and then they release a photon, that photon can have a range of energies. Its energy can be anywhere from 589.001 nanometers in wavelength, which is a really small distance, to something that changes by maybe a part in a million, which may sound like a lot, but it's not a part in a quadrillion, which is what the other one is like. And what that means is, because that energy of that transition between the 2 different states of the atom, because that energy is sort of ill-defined, then if you look at the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, you can do some calculations and see that that means that it's going to be a very short-lived state and things like that. And now I'm getting into
Oh, you're good.
straight
No,
up
no,
quantum
it's
mechanics.
fine.
No, it's seriously
My filters aren't
interesting.
handy, but my lenses are. I
loving
have a
this.
sodium filter to try to block out city lights for night photography, so I followed all of that part just fine. And I find the subject fascinating because I didn't really delve that much into atomic physics, particle physics, and such, but it's really fascinating to me because it sounds like you're hacking reality. Like you're taking rules and then kind of like just setting them off to the
Bending
side and doing your own thing.
Yeah, it sort of does feel like that sometimes, and it feels even more like that when you get into things like spin squeezing, which is basically a way of cheating, quote unquote. It's not actually cheating. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle, so that you can know this one thing way more precisely than you would think is possible, because what you're doing is you're making the other thing. Heisenberg uncertainty principle is the idea that if you try to measure and understand the momentum and the position of a particle at the same time, there's a limit to how well those 2 things can be understood.
That's right. Yeah.
If you know the position exactly, you know it perfectly, then you just by the laws of physics the momentum of that particle can be literally anything up to, I guess, the like speed of light and stuff.
The act of
relativity is a
fucked it up.
thing, but
Which is why I laughed so hard on Breaking Bad when he told everybody his name was Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Because you never know where he might pop up.
It's unpredictable.
So how can we apply this to a better understanding of cosmology?
When I was talking about how if you separate these things and then you bring them back together, the exact way that those atoms look, the fringe pattern as it was, if you take a picture of them, is exceptionally sensitive to all sorts of things, including exactly the phase of the laser that you're using to interact with them. Which means that if you have an experiment going on up here and you have another one going on down here and you use the same laser to talk to both of them, because exactly how they respond gives you an incredibly precise measurement of the phase of the laser, you know that distance, and you know that distance crazy accurately, like really, really stupid accurately. And that means that if there is some reason that the space between those changes, that isn't due to what you're doing, because you could launch the atoms a little faster, slower, stuff like that. But let's say a gravitational wave passes through.
Like
a gravitational wave literally just shrinks the distance of space-time while you do the experiment.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tiny bit, so small. And then when you do the experiment, you measure, and all of a sudden, your fringes have shifted. And so that allows you to measure a gravitational wave as it passes through. There were also models for dark matter that can also be tested in this way, which I understand much less well.
Just make it up.
The way that would be is it would couple and it would change the energy levels of the atoms so that it would change which frequency you have to use to excite the electrons into their different orbitals. That's how dark matter could affect it. But gravity is more straightforward because it changes the distance between them, which means that when you use the same laser to talk to both of them and do all of these measurements, everything that you're doing, the splitting into a superposition, the putting it back together, the taking the image, all of it is with a laser. So, and so then the idea is that with this particular technology, you can, in principle, it has not yet been done. This is what we're working towards. We're in the early stages of an experiment like LIGO. LIGO got its payoff in 2016, but LIGO started in the 70s. Okay, we're in the mid 80s of this experiment as a comparison, and maybe late 80s. But the idea is that we'll be able to measure sources of gravitational waves that have a much lower frequency than something like LIGO. Right. And so the idea is if we can see a gravitational wave that has a period of half a hertz, let's say, it goes up and down every 2 seconds.
That's black bullshit.
Then we can see that, but we only have one detector. So we don't know where it's going because you need 2 detectors to be able to triangulate to some extent. You need 3 to be able to triangulate properly.
Someone said Lego?
Huh?
Lego.
Someone said Lego?
The laser interferometer setup that detected those colliding black holes a few years back.
So you guys made vertical LIGO.
It's vertical LIGO, yes.
In Chicago.
And this version will be 100 meters. And there will only be one of them, so you can't triangulate, except, unlike LIGO, our sources last for more than half a second. LIGO detects them right at the very end of their lifetime, which is the most important and interesting part. But it means that you can't point your telescopes at it beforehand.
Right.
With this, you could detect, these 2 neutron stars are orbiting each other once every 2 seconds. And you don't know where they are. But the thing is, you keep on watching them, and a week later, your detector is in a very different position because the Earth orbits the sun.
You're
Now, because
using
the Earth orbits-
gravitational wave parallax.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
fucking kidding
So
me?
you do parallax as the Earth orbits the sun, and as that happens, maybe when you start observing, you see this signal, and your photos are going like this, and it's like, okay, there's a gravitational wave coming from somewhere at this frequency, and then as you follow it, as the Earth orbits the sun, you can triangulate the frequency, and they'll start to orbit faster and faster and faster, and then you can compute, okay, we have all these models which we can now test and make better for exactly how fast these things should orbit. And we can do calculations and figure out, okay, that means that there is a neutron star of this mass and a neutron star of this mass that are orbiting each other, and they're doing it based on all the calculations at this spot in the sky, right over there. And they're speeding up, and they're going to collide, and they're going to do it next Tuesday at 3 p.m., and everybody should point their telescopes there and watch the neutron stars collide. And
Now
that
is cool.
is fucking cool.
I just want to say you and your colleagues are a
Fucking
bunch
sorcery.
bunch of cheap
Yeah.
bastards is what she is. Because instead of building more than one fucking detector, we'll just use our orbit to triangulate. You lazy sacks. You get that fucking grant money and you build them all over the place.
Other people are building other detectors, just like LIGO. LIGO built 2 because they had to spot they have to spot, single time events. They can't wait for the Earth to go around. But LIGO has 2 detectors, and Virgo has a detector which has also been operating for several years now. But the other ones of these, and also the MAGIS 100, which stands for matter wave atomic gravitational interferometric sensor is what MAGIS stands for, and 100
About
stands
time
for
you got
100
it, man.
meters.
Sheesh.
But the version of it which will actually be able to detect these things, we think will have to be not 100 meters, but at least a kilometer. So we'll have to find some mine shaft in South Dakota or somewhere to. But there
Good
actually
news. We have a
some-
bunch of those.
Yeah, there are some which have actually been purchased, I think, or something by the Department of Energy, because they're like, you know what? A really,
one of those
really,
missile
really deep,
bases.
long hole in the ground might be useful for something.
Lots of fun
Yeah,
things.
buy one of those missile bases. They're in the middle of Arizona, and they're way fucking deep as shit, and 1,000 people could live in it.
All kinds of things can be found in deep holes. That's what they say.
What about this
That's
use
what I
now
heard.
that they want to use pulsars to detect gravitational
Yeah,
waves?
Yeah, what is up with that? I'd been wondering.
yeah.
What's up with that?
So
Well,
that
they're
Stupid.
their accuracy is like atomic clock accuracy.
yeah,
Or,
it's
or
very
better than, right?
it's very good. So my other advisor in grad school, I had 2 advisors. He has held the record for the most accurate atomic clock on numerous occasions, and
Damn.
they're not quite that accurate. Well, they're as accurate as an atomic clock that you would buy at the store, which is already crazy accurate. It's like a part.
Unnecessarily
rivals.
accurate.
It's a part of a
Just go to the
trillion
store and buy an
accuracy.
atomic clock.
Well, you can. You
Or
literally
the atomic
can.
clocks
I mean,
are us.
atomic
the
clock.
store.
The internet runs off atomic clocks.
AtomicClock.com.
Oh, yeah,
for all
yeah.
your atomic
Technically,
clock
my
needs.
phone does. There's just a cell signal
Yeah.
data
It's
transmission in the way.
GPS requires atomic clocks, because if you don't have atomic clocks, then you can't keep account of the gravitational effects of general relativity.
Mhm.
And that's one of the very few areas where that actually matters. Modern technology, if you're sending a rocket to Mars, you do not need to know about general relativity. You can land there perfectly fine. That is not going to be where your inaccuracy comes from.
Yeah,
Earth is
Your
Newton,
flat.
inaccuracy
Newton
is going
handles
to
that
come
okay.
from the fact that you can't control your thrust to a part in 10 to the 9. You can only control it to a part in 10 to the 5 or something, so you have to do a compensation thing later. And all of that is totally fine. General relativity very, very rarely matters for anything practical. GPS is the major exception to that. Because if you want GPS to work to better than I don't know, a few dozen meters, then you need to have very, very accurate timekeeping, which means you need to have atomic clocks.
This stream
So-
brought to you by our
Interesting.
friends at atomicclocks.com. Use promo code Neil604.
So you're mentioning about how atoms are so sensitive and there's lots of factors that can
Snowflakes.
change it, gravitational pull. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on how that could be affecting us, and especially like with 5G and like those kind of frequencies? What do you
5G.
think about-
Yeah,
Your microwave puts out more energy.
It
than 5G.
basically it can't. So the reason it affects them so pristinely and precisely is because we cool these things really, 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 really cold. So, do you know what the Doppler effect is? I'm going to explain it anyway, but
Yeah.
Yes.
it's the Doppler effect. Yeah,
Meow.
exactly. When something's coming towards you and releasing a sound, in that thing's
Sound
frame
waves.
of reference, it's the same in all directions. But you're coming at it, and its wavelength is much shorter when it's coming towards you, and then its wavelength gets a lot longer. So the sound starts going really high frequency, and then it changes to a low frequency. That effect for normal temperatures just washes out like everything. Like it's just like pretty much all washed out, and you just get very general sort of the only like time that the using these photons to like drive transitions is like obviously doing something is like in like a microwave, and it's all thermal. It's what that's doing is it's just yanking. You've got an atom of oxygen and then two atoms of hydrogen, and it's just making that thing flip over and over and over and over and over again, and that makes a lot of stuff really hot.
Makes the heat. Yep.
Exactly. The danger, the only danger from microwaves, if you're sitting there exposed to them, not if you're like playing with them, then electrocution is a danger. Don't open microwaves. They're seriously don't like
Those capacitors,
Magnetrons.
yeah,
Well,
they're no joke. A lot of consumer electronics, big TVs, stuff like that, there are big ass capacitors in there, and they are no joke. They can kill you.
And they hold their charge even when they're unplugged.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
like
right.
the old TVs used to.
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
I don't think
I know
do as much,
so
but,
many.
No,
so
not so
many
much.
people got hurt.
but
It's
5G
just not as strong.
5G is extremely low frequency.
Yeah.
So just like microwaves, it's not going to cause cancer. There is no physical mechanism by which 5G can cause cancer.
That's correct.
There
doesn't have
just
enough
is no
energy in
physical
it.
mechanism.
Yeah, it's
by which 5G can
fundamentally
cause
just
cancer.
a radio wave.
It's a radio wave, and radio waves can't cause cancer. They can only cause thermal problems. The first sign that you have a big problem with microwaves or radio waves or things like that is either going to be a burn. You're physically you physically are burned. Like if you broke the glass on your microwave and put your hand in there and turned it on, like that's probably gonna hurt eventually. I don't.
Yeah, breaking the glass with my fist was a bad idea.
Yeah,
That'll hurt
I mean,
too.
that too, but it'll do that.
Just I'm putting in there.
The other thing, and this was a concern in the early days of radar. It's still a concern, but they understand this, stuff better. Is there is one part of your body that, if it gets heated up, does not have a way of dissipating the heat. Most of the parts of your body, like if your arm is in a microwave, you've got blood pumping through it. Your blood will go through, it'll get warmed up some, but then it'll come back, and it's not going to be like infinity degrees. Like it's like if you stuck your hand in
100
any
million.
hot thing. Like it'll
Or cold
hurt,
thing.
it'll be a problem, but it's not gonna cook you from the inside. The one part of your body that can't eliminate any of this heat is the inside of your eyeballs.
Mm.
There
Yes.
isn't any
The jelly.
There isn't any circulation or anything in there. It's just gel. And if it gets too hot, it cooks exactly like the white of an egg does. and you go blind because the inside of your eyeballs cooked and everything else didn't. So radar
That's how you get-
technicians in
that's
the
how you
early
get
days of
heat
radar,
vision.
if they were too close to the antenna and it was blasting out this stuff, then it's basically heating them up like a microwave.
I just
So
saw
that
something
is-
the other day about a guy who discovered this, the guy who invented, I guess, the microwave. His candy bar melted in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the story you heard? Yeah.
yeah, and
That's how he discovered what was going on.
and like that's not good. Like having your because microwaves can heat things up from like the inside out. Like it's not like a good thing. But
I saw
you would
Kitchen
have
Nightmare.
you would have to be standing right next to a 5G broadcaster thing, like literally like right next to one, and even then, I would want to do the calculation first. But no, it's for one thing, if it was dangerous, there would be a lot of physicists like me who would do the math and realize that we could make a lot of money by writing a book explaining this and selling it and doing all of that. The shills just don't make enough money. Because we don't
George
make any
Soros-
money, because shills don't exist.
George Soros is so behind in payments. It's not
Yeah.
even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten my NASA check from that last flat Earth debate.
I haven't gotten a NASA check
Bastards.
in almost a year.
See? It's not right.
I had it all through my grant in grad school was technically paid in large part by NASA. So.
See, that's why I stayed
Mhm.
stupid, so no one can use me and make money off of me, and I don't get anything. I just don't get anything. Period.
I'm like the perfect juror or witness. I'm not swayed by anybody. Or am I just swayed by everybody? That was a good one. Do you guys want to do around the horn or something? Give Mike a chance to like drink some water after he just had to give a TED talk because
we owe
We made
him
him-
like
we made him
tuition
get-
or something for that lecture.
we made him do
I
all
feel-
that
I
shit for
feel-
free, and he's supposed to be here relaxing. So
Now, to be fair, as I'm sure was completely obvious by the everything about me, I love doing that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do it well too. You actually made it pretty understandable.
Thank you. It's
all right, cool.
that's one of the very few.
Okay, he already went over this, Randolph. Sorry. Sort of. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, sort of.
Are you
Basically,
on board?
basically that's how it does it. Yeah, it
Makes
basically
it vibrate faster.
Yeah. Some people sometimes like to bring quantum mechanics into it, and technically, yes, like all of it is obeying quantum mechanics.
Yeah,
But you can think of it totally classically. It's the microwave has an electric field that's pointing this way, so the water molecule aligns to it, and then a very short amount of time later, the electric field is pointing that way, and the water molecule aligns to that. Like you can think about it very classically in that way, and it's going to be correct for 99% of what you've got to figure out. So,
Yep.
I do have to. I will be right back.
This is a first.
and
Abandoned by the
crowd goes silent.
I can't blame him for needing to take an intermission. I mean, I wanted
Yeah, we
to
get some snacks
keep
for
him
part
talking
two.
so he can show off his expertise and stuff. And hell, we learned some cool stuff too. But at the same time, yeah, it takes a toll on the throat. You have to hydrate, folks. You gotta hydrate.
Gotta lubricate your instruments.
Right.
Yeah.
Drink a beer.
That's why I'm drinking bourbon, so I sound young and youthful. And I talk to the kids. I get right in their face and tell me you're going wrong.
I hate to tell you, Mikey, when you do that, you sound like a young guy trying to sound old.
Fuck you.
You got to be older like me and Neil for it to be real, man.
You know what the problem is?
At that point, you're just old.
I'm just a fucking tenant.
Hey!
We need authentic oldness up in here.
I'll say this
Hey,
also for
now.
Neil.
Time out.
Fuck
Time
off.
out. Can y'all stop being mad about your age? You can't fucking change it, okay? It
I'm not
is
mad.
what it is.
I'm
You're
just
gonna get these goddamn jokes. We love you. That's why we're making
hey.
fun of you. If we
Hey.
didn't love you, we wouldn't say anything about you.
Getting
You know I
old is
love that.
mandatory. Or sorry, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
Acting.
Neil is
On that
Neil
note,
agreed.
The more you
Dr.
know.
T, what are your thoughts on the possibility of time travel in the way we mean it with like time machines and shit?
I'm not going first.
I
I don't think it's possible.
I don't know.
course
I
it is.
think that there have been some things that have some theorems even that have been proven. I think that there have.
Oh my
We're getting an echo here.
god!
That have
Oh
Mute the
my
stream,
god!
Maya.
It's
Maya,
mother-
you gotta mute the
You gotta
stream.
mute the stream.
Oh,
Oh my
Sorry.
god! I
Sorry.
think
I
after
couldn't find
all
the
these
tab.
years, after all these years, you would think that Maya
I
would
couldn't find the
be able to
tab. I have like
stream.
5 tabs open right now.
Story of
She's
my
even a
life.
big
Maya.
she's
It
even
was
a
on
big
your
streamer
phone.
now, man. She
No,
does
I-
her own
Big,
production.
whoa, big.
I-
She's a boss.
I was
Teeny
able
tiny
to
baby
call
streamer.
Maya out on that because every week I make that mistake. Every
Oh, good.
single
Light her up.
week.
Light her up.
Hey,
Which
Maya,
isn't
what do you
my
do on
fault.
Monday
It's
nights?
because you can't mute it before the stream goes live.
Yeah, that does
Ken?
suck.
I have that problem on my
There
own
is a- no,
freaking
no,
streams.
There is a way, and this is how I do it, and I got into this habit for an entirely different reason. But
Mute the
at
tab.
least in Chrome, I think other browsers you can do the same thing.
You can mute the
Rather
tab.
than okay, you knew where I was going.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that until you said there's a workaround. And as soon as you said that, I was like, you can mute the tab.
Yeah,
I totally
can't-
forgot that you can
and
do that.
Can you mute the tab?
reason
It's
I-
You
not-
can mute the tab. Right click the
Oh, it
tab
does
and you
say
can
mute.
mute the tab.
Now,
But you
What
can't
I-
do that
I
with
never knew
StreamYards
that.
if you have more
Okay.
than one open because it mutes all of them.
yeah, this is
Oh,
not muting
yeah,
the
it does.
tab,
It
it's
says
muting
mute
the
site.
Yeah.
It
Well,
does
that's
say
rude.
mute site, but
But the utility I get out of that is, I don't know if this is the case on YouTube. But I know it's definitely the case on Twitch, which is where I spend most of my time.
Whatever.
Is if you are wanting, like, let's say you want to support somebody by lurking in their stream. If you just turn the volume down, like if you turn the volume off, your view does not count.
yeah.
Oh no!
That's what I
Really?
That's what
Yes.
That's what.
No,
That's
seriously.
what I thought.
Your
That's what I've
view
always
does
been
not
like.
count if you've muted it in the player. But if you
Right.
keep the sound on in the player and you mute the site, mute Twitch, it counts. And so if, like, let's say as I frequently co-host with a friend of mine, Will, so typically I'll keep his stream up, but of course I'm in the stream, so I will mute Twitch, mute the site, and so the extra view from me monitoring the stream, usually for mod purposes, still counts.
Nice.
Can
Thank you
I
for
do
the
that?
info because I've probably done that to you like 50 times now, just so you know.
Don't worry about it. Because here's
Well-
the thing. Here's the thing, Sabrina. Because they say like it won't show, but they know that that person is fucking there. So even if it's not showing on your counter, I think it still counts.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it.
I'm not
I think
sure-
it's
I
a
would-
variable thing.
Yeah,
right?
I would-
Not in
like,
a
I would-
way. Yeah, it
I
doesn't
would
count in
still-
any way that it benefits you, though.
I would still mute the site rather
Mhm.
than turning the volume all the way down.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But yeah, because they be on that bullshit. And I because I have my wife here, I got my phone here, and I just went live on the bin earlier, and it said on my screen I had 0 people watching. I know my phone's here. Wayne's talking to me in the chat. Tim's talking to me in my chat. My wife's in the other room watching. So that's 4.
Yeah, you
But it
can't.
still
You
says
can't
0.
count the StreamYard
That's
counter.
weird.
That thing.
Well,
it's,
the
so
counter is
uncomfortable.
also
Your
a
counter,
bit,
yeah,
a
no.
bit iffy, but I do know that that they do track whether it's muted or not. Like that does change how it affects the counter.
Yeah, fuck them.
Oh,
I
well.
turned
And
all my
whatever,
I
like,
turned
I
all
mean,
my
again, it was a very straightforward workaround.
I turned all my ads off on Twitch.
How?
I went through my settings and in my I can still get subs and stuff like that, but I turned all that shit off. Dude, they were
Oh,
making
you mean
people
as sorry, I got that backwards. I thought you meant like, how are you not seeing ads? It's like, no, you're not giving people ads.
No, I turned them off because people were getting stuck in like even Ollie would get stuck in like six,
Yeah,
or it'll
it's
be like the
insane.
2 to start the show.
6 20 to 30-second ads. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they get the 2 when they come in, and then they would hit them with like the 6 bomb, and I'm like, well, how much? Okay, how much money am I making off that? $4 on a decent month. $4. I was like, y'all
A
are
month?
worth what is what I was
Yeah,
getting off of
fuck
the ads
that.
from the money from the ads that they were playing. I was like, my friends
not
are worth
worth
more than $4, and I was like, somebody just throw me 1 sub, and it covers the fucking ads for the entire month for everybody. And then I
And
got
you
like,
get that
a hype
random
train.
shit, and people
And-
will
and then
buy
Reggie
people
was-
at,
I'm gonna
And then Reggie
go
was
and
started a hype
change-
train.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
and change my settings right now.
Because I mean,
You-
my
you
streams
told
aren't.
me.
My streams aren't huge, but I know what Twitch's game is. I know what they're after. They don't give a fuck about what you're actually making content about. They just want to sell ads. Well, I don't really care for ads, and I just want your platform. So I'll be taking the subs and ignoring the rest of this shit. I'm turning it all up. And they were like, "Are you sure you want to disable?" I'm like, "Bye."
Yeah, and I mean it's crazy. It's not like it's every hour either. It'll be like every half hour, and it's like, and it takes up a good portion of time. And they do it on purpose, just so you can like,
oh yeah,
you get tired of seeing the ads, and you're like, fine, I'll just sub. But a lot of people just lose viewers at that point.
You just punish.
Yeah, honestly,
like,
I can't afford
to.
Yeah, because I can't afford to sub, and there's people like Mikey and Sabrina and everybody I like to watch.
And
I usually try to gift some.
Wait a minute.
I want to.
Neil's trying to say something. That's why I stopped.
Oh, Neil, hi. Would you like to say something today?
Hi, Neil.
Oh, hey, Neil's on this show.
Is this your show?
Hey, what you did here?
Two things.
You get
First
one.
thing,
But go ahead.
Mark, I'm your first follower on Twitter.
Bullshit, I am.
Nope,
What? I
I
did.
clicked it said 1.
No
That's right.
way.
I wasn't kidding when I said I had to download just for you.
That's I clicked it. It didn't take. Neil,
Says
unfollow so
now
I can be
2
the
followers.
Like,
Damn it,
I did
I
that
thought
like
I
an
got
hour
it.
ago, bro.
Check. Apostate Ann needs to come on the show.
I agree.
Yes, she does.
Yep.
Oh, I'd be honored.
September bookings.
Easy,
And then you
already
could come to all the after parties.
We already
You
like
come to them anyways. There is no official rule like that. These guys just like to make that shit up.
$50, and you have to do a deconversion story. That's the only way you're getting on this panel.
Wait, you told me 100, you little fucker.
Oh, the baby's crying. I got to get the baby. I'll be right back. Coming, baby.
So, and I need to know: are you on Twitter?
Me?
No. All
You're not
this
on
time,
Twitter.
and I never got on Twitter.
Okay,
Wise
that's
choice.
right. That's right. Are you
Remember,
on
you
any
guys-
formats that I'd be able to reach out to you at, like Blue
I'm
Sky or...
on Facebook as Apostate Ann.
Okay.
And then on TikTok as well, Apostate Ann.
Ooh. Oh, I think
Neil's
I may
on
actually
TikTok.
follow you on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, she does great
I-
videos, by the way, like shorts.
I broke it.
Really nice.
I broke 1,000 subscribers, so I can, or followers, so I can do live shit there.
Dude, did you?
Ooh.
I'm at like 868 or something. I don't remember.
I'm at like
I'm getting
20.
there.
I stopped doing them. I'm like,
I
this
haven't
is
done one
nonsense.
thing in months, and I gained like 4 followers. I don't know what happened. I haven't done anything. But I lost 55 on or 52 on YouTube, so whatever.
They unfollowed you? Wow.
Yeah, some people unfollowed me. Yeah.
So there's some
Are you sure
weird
that they
things
just
with
get
where you
banned?
show up.
Right, I just followed you on TikTok.
Like when I come over here,
Thanks.
I'll even just being in the chat, I'll gain a sub or 2. But when I go to say Gur streams, for example, I'll lose subs just for being on Gur's show. I mean, Gur's a fun guy. I'll do it anyway. But who knows
That's
how anything works?
stupid.
Yeah.
Who is like either you're gonna follow somebody because you like their content or not. Period.
Yeah, that's what I think.
People
But
fear-
who knows?
Actually, tribal.
You didn't
here.
want them following you anyway.
Well,
right.
that's the thing. I have to make sure to put out like something pro trans every month or two to make sure the bigots keep themselves out.
Right?
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know. It's just
that's
like
an
bigots. They
interesting
just kind of
thing.
randomly sub to you. And I'm like, is this like a thing?
Yeah, why are you here?
Yeah.
Seriously, though.
That's an interesting thing you mentioned about you got to keep some put a bit of pro-trans stuff to keep the bigots out.
Mhm.
And it's interesting. Doing a pro-trans thing as a cis person helps keep bigots away, and doing a pro-trans thing as a trans person brings them to you.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking
No, you would
dead
think
on,
that
bro.
me only streaming with
Yep,
trans
bro.
people and Doc would be like, huh. But I don't know what bigots think. It's like, no, well, clearly they hate themselves and know that they're stupid, so we don't have to
Well-
say it. I really don't
But
understand
do
what
the
that's
stupid
about.
really know that they're stupid? I don't know about that.
don't know about
Yeah, that's
that.
the problem.
No, I mean, but bigots get like really upset when you like,
I gotta
I don't
sound
know, or
this.
pro something. And I'm like, what do you think this is?
It's because like I said the other day, a lot of people out in the country have variable internet. They usually aren't online. They have phones that kind of work, and they get cable internet, and it's like Fox News. They literally are just so misinformed. They are surrounded by bad information, and they are clueless. They're just, but like, even the people that are half intelligent and are farmers.
How stupid do you have to be to follow a black woman and then get mad at her when she gets mad at people for posting racist shit?
Maybe they're used to Jesse Lee Peterson or something.
I'm just saying though, you know, how do you?
You're right.
How do you
Jesse Lee Peterson? Really?
How do you follow a black woman who streams every week with at least one trans person, and then get mad at her when she like sticks up for trans people? And you know, I told my bigots, and I'm like, if you're a sub to me and you're not pro, unsub to me. And like, I wouldn't have cared if I lost half my viewers. Like, I don't know why you're here.
That's the bitch of it, is they'll unsub, but they will stay in the chat and do big long rants in the comments. And
exactly.
Yeah.
So during Pride Month, I did kind of a social experiment, and everybody who I interacted with, I asked them, what is the difference between sex and gender? And not one person got it right. So just speaking of the ignorance, like really they just don't understand. And so it was good conversations.
So I will
I'm not really
confess.
sure that there is a way to be right or wrong on that. Well, you know, there are ways to be horribly wrong on that.
Yeah. I will confess. I will confess that I would not want to be put under the spotlight. I suppose we're streaming this and it'll be recorded on YouTube, so you know that ship is sailed. But I will confess that it is possible that if I were to ask to define the difference between sex and gender, I would not give a super well informed response. So what is?
I think it's complicated is probably okay.
I could give that, yeah. But what would you say?
So actually, all of this came about because Mark asked me the question, and I didn't know how to answer it, and I got it wrong. And so, looking into it, we learned that sex is solely based on your chromosomes. So you have XX female, XY male, but you also. But hold on. But what's come into understanding? Hold on, I haven't finished yet. What has come into more understanding now is that this is a scientific definition, is that we're not just like XXXY, but you could have like, they showed a picture of like 80% XX and 20% XY, like that. It can be a little more complicated than that. And there's also genetic abnormalities, or I don't think abnormalities are the right word, but genetic differences to where you can be XXY and XYY and be intersex.
Yes.
And not a single red corpuscle in your body has a sex chromosome.
Or any other chromosome.
Single one. Yeah.
Also, you
so it's not, to me, biological sex is a cluster of characteristics that are determined by karyotype and genetic expression that is governed by the hormonal makeup of your system, of your entire physicality. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. And yes, there are people with, say, androgen insensitivity syndrome who are XY, but whose fetal development never expressed because of the fetal environment, of fetal hormonal environment. The SRY chromosome never got activated for whatever reason. And so they are phenotypically female, karyotypically male, but don't have, don't experience the same kind of development that a typical male fetus person would encounter throughout their lives. So it's a cluster of physical traits that determines what is a woman. And when it comes to gender, it's similarly a question of a deeply personal sense of where you lie, and that's determined culturally as well as what's you can say gender is a social construct. Well, okay, money is a social construct too, but there is, I believe, for those of us who've had to wrestle with this question, I believe that people do have an innate sense of gender for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe some of that has to do with the hormones in utero, hormones postpartum,
combination,
a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't know, but for whatever reason, a small number of people wrestle with this issue a whole hell of a lot more than other people do.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mind being trans, but it's become a little bit uncomfortable, and it's been uncomfortable for my entire life. But it's only uncomfortable insofar as society at large can't deal with it, even though I have to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
By the way, I just wanted to add, as I like bringing, because we're talking about intersex and androgen insensitivity as a specific example. I love bringing up Julia Child as a great example of an intersex woman who was XY.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes. And I think there were. I remember this example specifically because I find her like a very easy person to pull out of my pocket if I'm in a conversation or a bigot comes out.
Everybody knows that name. Absolutely.
Because everybody, or at least a very large portion of people, either know that name or at least are able to like vaguely familiar with it. I remember I was in the chat for another trans streamer that I follow, and bigots come in quite frequently, and one was like he wasn't just coming and trolling, he was actually trying to engage, so it seemed like there was a degree of, I'm not just trying to be an asshole, he seemed like he kind of wanted to engage, and so I'm like, hey, well, here's this example. Julia Child was had XY chromosomes, about androgen insensitivity, but we're not going to deny that she's a woman. She was absolutely a woman. She lived as a woman her whole life, and like there's nothing to indicate that she isn't a woman. Unfortunately, this person did end up falling back on a particularly nasty point, and they got booted from chat. But like from the way they were commenting, I feel like they probably learned a little bit that time, and so I feel like they made that was a good movement. And I know somebody else wanted to say
it would have been marvelous had Julia Child ever presented a recipe on the French chef for prairie oysters.
Oh my!
Hey, also, I
how long has Neil been missing?
Oh,
2 minutes.
Really?
Half minute.
I just kicked Mike out. He was about to say something. I jumped out so Mikey could come back in because he was gone for a bit, so I could add Steph. Right, so now Mikey's back. So I'll bump up myself up for a little bit. I'm still here and listening, so fear not.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late. There was other shit going on in the YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a breakdown. Yeah, of the.
But I came here for the humor, and what do I walk into? Is this bullshitting?
No,
It's funny because the first
You just can't get away from it, stuff.
If we need humor, I can always find a Roger video. It'll take me like less than a minute.
I know. That's why I did the prairie oyster bit, guys. It's like really seriously. Dice them up. It's like I would love to see that video.
You guys are all looking at the wrong.
The French chef.
I do want people to know that just because somebody doesn't, just because you don't get to one person, you got to remember the audience. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, can you not hear me or
not you. We just managed to shut ourselves up.
Turn on your mic. We can't hear you.
No, he's full of shit. I was waving at Carrie.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
No,
yep.
I just
KAC came in.
I mean, I think that the conversations are still worth having because as Steph showed today, even if you're, arguing with an asshat that is trolling for sound clips, the audience and
Pine Creek.
Precisely.
Treat for UNICEF.
Y'all are making my jokes take longer. Y'all done with the drama? I'm trying to make some jokes here. I got my jokes.
I'm done with the drama. I didn't come here for the fucking drama. I came here for the humor.
I thought we were going to do it around the horn.
Let's do the round the horn.
What happened to the round the horn? That always brings out comedy in us.
I'm just trying to make
Star
fun
Trek
of Maya.
related or Star Wars related?
Is around the horn when you like start a sentence and then somebody has to make the next sentence like
that would
no, you answer a question.
That's a fun intro.
No, that's telephone. I think that's telephone.
No, telephone is when you just say a thing and then you got never mind.
Oh, they got to repeat it. Yeah, that's
the same as gossip.
I said no, that's telephone.
Yeah.
It's same as gossip, telephone. It's all the same.
All kinds of games. Play like that as a kid.
I just want to yell at Maya for having her microphone pointed the wrong direction. Can I do that real quick?
What?
That's a Yeti.
Yeah,
am I
do
correct?
it, Mikey. It's yeah. You're good at critiquing the audio properly.
Be flat.
What if it's a direct address mic though?
It's a Yeti.
Oh, it's
got
supposed
the
to be pointed vertically.
Yeah, it's like a lollipop in there.
You're supposed to address it, I guess, from the side. I think is what he's saying. I have no idea. Where
the little red button is, think of like a little lollipop. There's a little lollipop microphone.
Yeah, the red button is right here.
Right.
Yeah,
the lollipop.
Kind of got the same thing. You can see the little gizzy inside it.
No,
I think what he's trying to say to you is that if you tilt it away from you, it'll
show it again. Number.
Yeah. See the little circle thing.
No, I see it on yours.
It
I don't see it on mine.
Yours is the exact same. It just doesn't have a screen on it.
Right. It is not the exact same.
It is. It's the same thing inside there.
Mine looks like a little penis.
They all look like little penises.
That's true. That's
I
true.
don't see it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't see it.
I'm saying that your mics are the same.
Kinda.
Yours just has more of a. This is just another. It's just a mesh. One of these. That's
little screen spit catcher thing. That's what it is.
Can everyone hear me talking into my mic?
Yeah, I'm not
hear you.
sure what you're complaining about. I feel like it's perfectly effective.
Mikey, okay.
It could be
Mikey just needs to go on his mic tangent, and I'm gonna mute his.
Guys, I just ripped a bunch of padding off of my
chair.
No one cares.
How dare!
I'm just saying.
I care, Maya. Are you calling me no one?
Through velvet.
Yes.
I relate very strongly with you.
And I'm hurt.
Okay.
Mike, the Tapiocaweasel, Mike. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did hear you say something about ADHD earlier. So yeah. I that whole peeling off the thing from the chair or from the armrest. Oh man, I feel that so strongly. Like my chair is just a mess.
So who here has some sort of attention something, and if so, how do you stem?
What do you mean?
What
was that?
Probably.
I have a few different things. Okay. You may have noticed I'm constantly rocking.
Ember, maybe explain what STEM is, because people may know that they do STEM and they don't know what it is.
Okay, it's basically a controlled kind of stimulation to try to diminish the sense of being overwhelmed or any other random neurological processes that might be making. Yeah, making life more difficult. Like I'm constantly rocking, and often I do other stuff too, like my leg will twitch, or I'll be chewing on this toothpick, which is also for smoking cessation stuff.
Yeah.
Like my hands will be fiddling with stuff, any of that kind of stuff. The reason the fidget spinner craze got so big was because it gave people a way to like just have something in their pocket to stim with. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
I tap all the time. Then I'll just start humming like the bass line of a song that's playing over the radio.
That's me. I'm the music guy.
And control
Everything,
it. Even at
everything
work,
turns into a song for me.
Works.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's right.
As some of you may be able to see, I'm doing it right now. I'm squeezing my pillow or a plushie or whatever.
Or a small creature. Too slow to get away.
Sometimes
I kind of feel like
small
swapping right
whale.
now. I'm gonna get my plush.
The
I
shark.
was about to say, where's the shark at? Where's the shark?
Dolphin. Shark.
I constantly make
actually,
guitar chords.
I'm
even
gonna
when
get
I'm not
my
playing
fidget.
guitar.
Yeah.
I'm always making chords, like cowboy chords.
Obviously, I kill myself slowly with cigarettes, so that's.
Yep.
I like to fidget with things, but also my toes and feet are constantly moving.
Oh my
Same.
god!
Unless I am like
inside of Beck's
standing
boot
up
is like a
to-
fucking stampede, like from
Yeah, no, they're just doing this all the time.
He's going down a cliff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just my toes constantly do that. Or my feet will wiggle, or if I'm somewhere that I'm feeling anxious, my leg starts bouncing, then my other leg starts bouncing. And
Now they're bouncing opposite.
Back.
Now they're together.
Back.
you can tell how bad
Back.
I am. Yes, beautiful. What do you want?
Let's see
Yeah,
your
baby.
toes.
No,
You don't
no,
wanna see
no,
my
no.
toes, baby.
No, there's
No,
enough.
we don't
wanna
want to
see
get
my toes.
That's
No.
on the OnlyFans.
No, the bad Christians
Make
are
people
watching
pay
right
for that
now,
shit.
And they're looking. They
Yeah.
need to get us off.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
off
Hey,
YouTube,
Christians
like,
out there looking at this channel, Beck ain't showing his toes to you.
Not for free.
Not
You're
much
gonna have to
pay.
pay.
Doc,
Yeah,
you
that's
may
right.
appreciate my
You're good at
my
something,
fidget.
you never do it
feet.
for free.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
can
I
look at
love
a lot
it.
of things.
I need to get some good fidget toys.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
pretty
a
sure-
present.
I'm pretty sure I never really thought about it, at least in the context of like what I do when I'm just sitting here, to stim, as it were, I guess.
Play with your beard.
That was going to be the main one. Is I think I do a lot of the playing with my beard, and it's soothing. The other thing I do is I'll stare off into space, or I will stare directly at the camera. If I'm doing one of those two, then I'm probably
Somewhere
actually
else.
paying a fair amount of attention to like what I'm saying.
I've noticed that when you're really you're either straight on the camera or up at an angle. Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Up
like
at an
I
angle a
also,
lot.
you know,
Straight at an
I'm
angle.
also looking a lot at just like the screens in front of me. But most people understand that I'm doing that because, you know, that's where all the information about what's going on in the situation I'm in is from. So I kind of have to.
Has anybody has anybody got the big bucks and has the NVIDIA card that will keep your eyes always on the camera?
No,
No.
I have an NVIDIA
I don't
card,
have the
but I don't have
camera.
a
It
software
doesn't
that
sound
does
like an
that.
NVIDIA card. That
there's
sounds like
the
an
latest
implant.
NVIDIA cards have this app that will make it appear that your eyes are always on the camera, so that you're always looking.
Like it
That's not
basically
physically
it
possible.
modifies the
That's set
image.
up.
Modifies the image.
Oh,
modifies the
okay.
image.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's doing it with Photoshop, then yes. But if the only way to do that would be to physically move the camera to always be tracking you, which you would notice.
Yeah, that could be
Now
creepy.
you would notice. Eventually, we are going to get to the point where all of our screens are going to also just be like basically cameras, and you're going to be able to just look at the screen without looking away. And yes, that's horrifying. It's also super awesome and convenient. Both of these things are true.
No.
Steph Glasia said Toby eye tracking. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. It's used for video
Yeah.
games, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's some
Interesting.
neat shit.
Yeah, it's
I
for
wonder
real.
how
And if you see the videos of it, it's fucking crazy. It's like,
Yeah, isn't that the thing that it's based on how Stephen Hawking used to type?
Maybe.
or something. I don't know.
Well,
Oh.
eventually he started out with one of those mouth moving things when he
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I mean,
he,
his
towards the
last
end.
and then he
several
formed the
years, he had
technology
eyeball
because he
tracking.
wanted his life to be better. Yeah,
Mhm.
and other people got to benefit. Yeah, yeah. Stephen
Dr.
Hawking did a
Tapioca.
lot for the ADA community.
I
Oh,
got a question for
absolutely.
the doctor. I
What's
live
up?
near Fermilab. I live near Fermilab. Tell me that none of the science is going to create a black hole.
None of the science is going to create a black hole.
All right.
None of
But
the
will the
science is
science
going to do that.
escape?
I am willing to bet my life, your life, and the life of every other human being on the planet on that. I'm 100% willing to do that.
But
We
if it
call that
happens, it's gonna be
Oppenheimer's
so
wager.
quick, we're not going to notice, right?
Neil went.
There's some 15-year-old kid that actually has that hypothesis that people.
Well,
made up.
here's the bitch of that, though. If Earth actually did fall into a black hole, whether it's one of our own making or it comes through the solar system or whatever, because of the time dilation effect of the black hole, even if it's instantaneous to an outside observer, it will last very near to eternity for you.
Oh no!
You're going to be sitting there saying, "Jesus Christ, where's this Uber driver? I don't understand." It's like
We found hell.
Would
All
that? I don't want to think about it. Never mind.
What if you were just about to sneeze and then the black hole came? So then you never got to sneeze and you were stuck there for fucking 1,000 years about to
Mikey.
sneeze.
Curse of black hole.
Mikey? No.
I was in mid-sentence and I got fucking booted out for a sneeze comment. Look, so much. All right, so I got to bring this to a close because, as you guys know, I get up very, very early in the morning. It's already past my bedtime.
That's why Saturdays are more fun.
3:40 in the morning. I still only do an hour and a half. Well, they usually tend to go an extra 10, 15 minutes. Usually,
They do.
but it's about an hour and a half.
You've gone up to 2 before,
Especially
but you
when
try
you
to
get a
keep it
20-minute
around.
late start altogether, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, but it still says an hour and a half. Whoops, up there.
Oh yeah, no,
It's true. 1:32:06.
Exactly.
What?
So,
Well,
anyways,
thanks for having all of us.
It's 12:21 a.m. I thought you were going to say no.
God damn it!
I did that just for
There's got to be a mass mute fucking button there.
There should be. I mean, you can manually mute everybody, but
I can, but I won't.
Throw up a
But I do
video.
want to thank Mike, aka Dr. Tapiocaweasel, for being Mikey Mind's guest tonight.
Dr. T.
Great having you on. Fucking finally. So-
I mean, well, has Maya been on?
yeah. Oh yeah. Like, Jesus. Were there cars back then, Maya? When
I
you
Years
feel
were-
like
ago?
okay. I thought you asked that same question like earlier, and the answer was no. That's why I'm asking it, because I wouldn't have asked that otherwise.
No,
Also, Maya
Maya's
doesn't
been-
identify as an
Aaron.
atheist, so you know.
I know. I know. I think people that identify as agnostic are just cowards.
Well,
all I
in
Hey,
fairness to Maya, you
They're answering a
cannot,
different
you
question.
definitionally cannot be an atheist if you yourself are a god.
Good point.
that is
Or
extremely
goddess.
true.
I don't
Absolutely
know.
true.
I don't believe in myself, so I don't
I
know.
don't
Well,
believe
just ask Titan Uranus.
We're talking about
Actually-
Maya, to be clear.
You can be an atheist in that given situation because you can be ignorant of your own nature.
Yeah, that's true.
Theoretically.
I suppose so. Yeah.
We should do some experiments.
I think, well, Maya was mentioning maybe an after party over on Tapioca's channel.
Yeah, so I went and I was like, I've never pressed the go live button, so I pressed it and it
Well, you
said
gotta wait
you have to
24 hours.
request and verify the thing, so I can't do it.
Hey, I'll do it. What the hell? I can do it.
Well, there you go. If you guys want to chill and you know the channel you can go
Oh,
to.
fuck. I'll
You're muted,
You're
Maya.
muted, Maya. I can't hear you.
Maya, I
Maya's
want to
been
link.
muted.
No, that's what I was saying. That's how you know that I'm like I have God powers, because the first time I pressed the go live button, it was just like, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Okay. Gotta
Yup.
work on it. I'll work on this.
That's fucking funny.
I love you, Maya. You're
All
great.
right. Anyways, thanks everyone for jumping in here with Dr. T and Mikey and me. and hanging out tonight. I will be doing a thank you tweet. And Mark, you'll actually be able to see it this time because I know you're a Twitter now. So
dun dun dun.
I'm not a cosmologist.
Thanks to everyone out in the chats over on YouTube and Twitch for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Also, thanks to our wonderful patrons and members. You guys are awesome, and the show is nothing without you. So it actually says that right down there. So. Yeah, you guys, everything helps, and it's awesome. And I forgot to mention at the end of the interview part, if you like the tunes that you hear, well, we can supply you with more. There are SoundCloud links for both myself and Mikey in the description box below. Definitely check that stuff out. Mikey does a lot of really cool shit. And, well, I've heard my stuff a billion times, so it's like, whatever. So, but people seem to like it. And anyways, until next time, like I always say at the end of the after party, he's like the late, great Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.